Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Arran Articulates, the show where I articulate the problems in life so that you don't have to. Tonight, I'm joined by a guest, but before that, let's just go through all the housekeeping. Go through all the housekeeping stuff. Subscribe, comment, share it out. You know the drill. I said a couple of weeks ago, get animals, get pets watching it. Do what you need to do. Start printing out leaflets and just throwing them around the streets, posting them through doors. Do what you can to get it out there. But that's it from me in terms of the housekeeping. It was meant to be live and uncut tonight. I felt with just one-on-one, it's easier for just a show with a guest. But you never know, if this goes successfully for my guest, he might join us on the live and uncut in the future. You never know. Right, let's get on with it. I'll be the judge of that. Imagine right now. Okay, here we are then. So, new episode. And my guest tonight is someone that I work with. And to be fair, we probably have these conversations probably 95% of the time at work. So we thought, well, why not? Let's just record it and put it on. So welcome, Callum. How are you, mate?
God, thanks so much for having me. I just feel
That's
like
all right.
making sure that my fish in my pond have been
watching. Yeah.
They're a particular big fan of Pete.
Yeah. Pete and Ian. Everyone's loving Pete and Ian. Well, and Jim, to be fair, but Ian especially, he's caught a lot of publicity.
Yeah, my dog's more of a Jim fan, but the fish are all about Pete.
All about Pete. All about Pete. So how's the half term going? Obviously, we got a couple of weeks off, but I've sort of preempted your rant because I know what you have been up to the last week or so.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you find this, or maybe it's different for you because you're a dad, but 2 weeks off when you've got nothing planned,
it's a long time.
Everyone who's not in education comes to me like, oh, holidays must be the best. No, I hate them because I've just been sat twiddling my thumbs.
If you've been sat there all day waiting for this, just sat there.
Extensively, yes. Like I'll pop out to get some snacks, and I've sat here and I've played video games, which to me,
that sounds amazing.
WWE.
But aside from that, but basically, you're sort of just making sure you don't starve to death. So long as nip out, get some food, don't die, and that's a successful half term.
That is the goal. It's just don't die.
Don't die. He's come back to work. He hasn't died.
Oh, well done. Callum's had a successful half-term break. He hasn't, died.
He's not dead. He hasn't died. But on a flip side of what sounds like an amazing day to me that you've had, even though that's probably enough for you today, but that sounds excellent. But so we got up today, as I said to you the other day, we've took this massive tree down that was in the garden, and the back fence at the very back of the garden there needed painting. So that was me. I've done that. I did have Phoebe helping me, which at times was harder work than if she hadn't have been. But she did actually, after a while, done all right. She did some good stuff there. But towards the end, she did decide that it was best to just put both hands in the fence paint. She looked like bloody Sandman. Like
that is it. You're not up to date with the way that you paint. You paint with your hands.
Your hands. And
And
I
you
think
just
she's
do the whole
obviously seen
fence
that.
like that. Just
In fact, it would have looked really artistic, wouldn't it? If we'd just left it with sort of like 150 different handprints.
a
Looked quite
horrible
good.
looking fence with handprints on it.
All over it. But that's what she ended up doing, was just just sort of lost it towards the end. But that was my day. And then tomorrow we're going to go to B&Q and get some bits, I believe. So yeah,
Thrilling.
your day sounds much better, mate, honestly.
And
Right.
I've been catching up with a friend who I haven't spoken to for many years, and he's just had a baby like 3 weeks ago. And I
Yeah.
was like,
See you later.
oh,
See
goodbye.
See you in about 20 years.
But he said, he's like, oh, I don't have the time to play anything that's got any kind of substance, because I need to be able to drop it for a moment's notice. And I said,
Yeah.
a friend of mine, said,
Yeah.
that's the next 3 years.
Yeah. Well, yeah, maybe. I think you could say to him, slowly, by the end of the year, he'll get a little bit of those evenings back in chunks. Like you'll notice, oh, hang on, got a few hours there. Or if once the naps start being properly on time, like I think in the early, like toward like the first end of the first year, she was napping like 3 times a day, which was quite, and they were chunky naps, like a couple of hours. But then you're on sort of 100% again for a couple, and then it's nap.
At what point is a nap a small sleep?
Wow. Yeah, and then he's going to have all that. Oh, don't miss that bit. Like he's going to have, how long is that too long? Because if you mess it up, you've cocked bedtime, and that is worse. But then if you skip the nap or you shorten the nap, that cocks bedtime as well, because then you get overtired, and that's even, you'd think, oh, they'd be knackered. Like, well, you'll be knackered because you haven't had your nap. No, that's worse. That's like putting trying to get a demon to lay a possessed individual like Damien from The Omen, trying to get him to sleep. He ain't going to sleep, is he? He just wants to kill you. That's what he wants to do. But yeah, that's what he's
trying to do things.
Yeah,
kill you.
He just wants death. But yeah, and that's worse. That's worse.
Weirdly, this conversation, I'm going off piste already, but
yeah,
if I feel like just something that he said brings up a rant for people that aren't me, but for parents, of the fact that he brought up he's looking into childcare.
Yeah.
And Jesus Christ, how much it costs.
Do you know what, mate? We have never had other than nursery, but we've never done any, like, I don't know what the word is, in-house private child, like people have someone to come over and babysit, don't they? We've never done that. Yeah, we never did that. Mainly probably for that reason. Really expensive.
He's saying like $1,000 a month.
Yeah, yeah.
Let me just grab the spare grand I have in my payslip every month.
Yeah, yeah, it's about that. I can't remember how much. I got a mate that does like babysitting, and I think even an hour. I can't even, actually. Do you know what Laura's just said? Laura, do you remember when Owen used to do babysitting? Can you remember how much he charged an hour? There's something quite heavy, wasn't it? 20 odd quid an hour. It's a lot, isn't it? For an evening.
When I think back, when I think back to being a kid.
You put your evening on top of that.
When I think back to being a kid and babysitters, it was just one of the older kids from the street.
Just popped in.
And you'd buy them a 24-pack of crisps and a bottle of Coke, and you'd rent them DVD from Blockbuster, and you'd go, right, just look after
them. Just watch that. And again, same as you for the half term. As long as they're not dead when we come back from the meal or wherever we're going, this has been a success.
That's all we needed.
That's all we need. Yeah, no, it is madness. It's madness, and it'll take him a year or so to get his head around all of it. It blew him away, because it did me. Totally blew me away. Right. I went with these two pictures. I wasn't 100% sure what you're going with, but I preempted because I knew what you had going on. I did, though, want to say, could you please tell the story of the move, because it is hilarious with the storage thing.
It's obviously that story starts with a cameo from your favourite topic of traffic.
It does, and I mentioned that traffic, didn't I? It's all gone. This is full circle. It's how it affected me, but this is how it affected someone else that actually had more on than me.
So I've had to move house last week, and I've moved out of a 2-bedroom flat, and I've gone back to my parents for a bit, and I've put loads of furniture into storage.
Yeah.
And I've lived in a different place every year for the past 7-8 years. So moving isn't something that bothers or stresses me out usually. And this time when I'm moving my stuff between 2 places, I was like, oh right, okay, I don't need to book a day off work. I'm just gathering furniture and dumping it in storage.
Yeah.
So
left a bit early, didn't you? Left a bit early.
I left a little bit early, but only like half an hour early.
Yeah.
And so like I didn't take my lunch break.
Yeah.
And then I went and picked my brother up because he agreed to help me. Hop on the M27, and as I'm joining the motorway, I see the sign saying 50 miles an hour, and I'm like, oh god.
And there's no turning back at that point, though, is there? Once you see that sign, you're like, oh no.
So there were 3 accidents on the motorway, and I don't know. I've only been driving a year. How do you have an accident on the motorway?
I know.
You literally just switch your brain off and just drive.
It's
the M27. You're driving 3 miles an hour anyway.
Yeah, and there's only 2 lanes because they're working on the other 2 straight lines, and some nutter.
Or 3 people apparently.
3 can't handle that. That's too much for him.
Yeah,
I know, mate.
So I'm now just sat in gridlock traffic on the motorway going, I'm trying to move house right now.
Yeah.
So eventually I get there, start filling up my car and putting stuff on the roof, drive it to storage, unload, go back. It's now, I was hoping to be done like 8:30. Maybe that was ambitious, but the second load we finished at like 9:15, and I needed to do a third load.
Well, I think what people need to understand as well, because you text me just before I was leaving and said, don't go on that. Yeah. So as I said in my one, I went like wayward, like I went totally off track, but I kept moving. But people, when that motorway, when there is an issue on that one, it really does just bulk out. Like
it's the whole area.
Yeah, the whole city to an extent starts feeling the knock on of that, doesn't it? So even though you were off the motorway, eventually, you were then hitting like the knock on of that, weren't you?
My flat was in the city centre, and the storage. There's no storage in the centre of the city. It's on the outskirts. So I was having to go from the city centre to the outskirts, back and forth. At rush hour,
which would have been busy anyway.
Yeah.
But that chucked it on.
Yeah. So it was just ridiculous. And then I did the first load. So as I say, we're at like 9 o'clock now. I've not eaten, I've not drank anything since lunch.
Yeah.
And, we get lunches at work, which is great, but that's also a lunch that's designed for an 11-year-old.
Yeah, it's not like a meal, is it? It's not a sit-down meal.
And then it's a 24/7 storage thing, and I've paid the money and I've secured it all, and it's fine. And then I was like, right, one last load, fill up the car, put my mattress on the roof, start driving, And after 3 minutes, and I was like, when I was loading up the car, I was like, oh, it's getting a bit windy. I'd quite like to hurry up. Secure it as best I can. Start driving. One of the straps comes loose, and I'm like,
Yeah.
you know what? I'm gonna be a grown up, and I'm gonna scrap the mattress. I'm just gonna drive it back. We're only 2 minutes away. I'll have to come back the next day and deal with it.
Yeah.
So I then do that, and then I turn around and I go back towards the storage, and pull into the store. So I arrive. The way that it works is I've got an app, and like there's the gate to the car park that you press the button and the gate opens, and then you've got an external gate, an external door, and then an internal door. That all again, it's just a button press on your app, and the doors open automatically.
Yeah.
So I got through the gate, unload the car onto trolleys with my brother.
Sorry, it's just because I know the end, but carry on.
Walk to the front door, press my button, the front door opens. Step inside the building, press the button for the second door, and it won't open. I'm like, oh, I've been moving for 6 hours at this point. I've had enough.
Last load as well. Last load.
Last load. It's all done. I'm ready to go home. I was like, right, maybe my app's just being stupid. So I get my access code. I type it into the thing. You don't have access. Apparently, and I didn't know this, I hadn't paid for the you can access it at 2 a.m. payment, because I didn't think I'd ever need to go to storage in the middle of the night.
I must get that chest of drawers. Oh, it'd be dead quiet. I'll go now.
It's going to be really quiet if I just go, at 1.
That'd be dead. I'll go now. Yeah. Why would you ever need that?
So, and so in the space between me opening the first door and opening the second door, it had clocked over to 10 p.m, which means I no longer had access to the storage.
It's just brilliant.
And it's just like, if I'd gotten fully inside, then I'd be all right, because I could still unload the stuff, and then I just have to phone a guy and be like, I've gotten trapped in the storage. Can you open the doors?
Yeah.
Worst case scenario, they pay me a fine or something for being there when I shouldn't have been. But no, I'm trapped between 2 doors. And it's not even like there's like loads of, it's not like I've got a hallway that I've walked down. It's literally a door, space for you and the trolleys, the next door.
So the one behind, so you couldn't even get out now, because that locks.
That one stayed open.
Yeah.
So we go out and we fill up the car.
Yeah.
And then I press my button to open the gate to leave the car park. And it goes, you don't have access at this time. And but on the app, there's gate entry and gate exit, and I would have thought that the reason you've got 2 buttons is to the exit button always works because you're trying to leave.
Yeah, that's the one you want.
What's the point in having 2 buttons if
that doesn't make a blind? But just have open, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Open.
Yeah. So
you got the 2.
So then I still had to ring the guy at midnight. It was at this point it was like quarter past 10. I'm phoning this guy, just be like, I don't have access to the storage anymore. Can you please open the gate so I can leave?
That's
and
mad.
luckily he didn't ask anything. He just went, oh yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Press the button for me.
And out you go.
But then I still had to obviously then drive back to my flat, unload that carload back into the flat, and then fill the car up with the stuff that I'd planned to take home with me, the things I needed to, live.
Yeah, that one journey's really the setback of that is huge, isn't it? Because you've had to you've done an extra unload, which you didn't need to do. You've had to re-plan, 2 extra unloads, and then plan and then change your plan of what you're taking for the next bit.
And the plan for the following day had been go to work, finish work, go back to the house, and just do the final clean.
Yeah.
which then means I can hand the keys over, and which I guess leads us really smoothly into the next part, which you can see our cheeky little chappy there.
I was going to say, all I would say when I found that picture, look at that tosser. I couldn't have, if you like said to someone, draw me a picture of an estate agent, that's
him. He's right there.
They all look like that.
Well, it's not even that. It's draw me a picture of an estate agent who's absolutely no help at all in any situation. There he is.
There he is.
That's him right there.
And he's really happy about that. Like,
he loves
it. He's got a folder there, I think. Nothing in that.
No.
There's nothing in
that folder. You go to the viewing and you go, what council tax band is this house? And he opens his little folder. He goes, I don't know.
No.
If you don't know, what are you doing here?
I don't know. I'd have to check. I'd have to check that.
Check that one.
Well, when we moved into here, mate, I think I've not gone really in detail with you. I won't go into that out because it is like a 2-hour explanation. But it ended up with me having to, not them, not my bank who we were getting the mortgage from, but me, I had to find out what type of building it was, because it's not brick, it's something else, like some old-fashioned thing
made of mud and pubes.
Yes, made of just mud molded together. It could fall to clay. It could fall if it rains. It collapses. But no one had
big wolf.
Yeah, no one had this information, but the bank wouldn't finalise the money until they knew what type of building they were given the money for, which kind of did make sense. But I had to do all the legwork, go through the council. The council didn't know, or they said they didn't. And then I emailed a guy that does structural engineer work, and he knew the building. And he said, I know what it is because I've done work in the area, and that is a whatever it was. And I was like, brilliant. Can you type an email and send me that so I've got it as proof? Took that to the bank, and they went, no, it needs to be a proper structural engineer's report. I asked him to do that. Mate, that was like $1,000 for him to come out and just say, that's made of that is. And he was like, I'm not doing that. He's like, I'm not going to charge you for that. I'm telling you what it is. Then some other guy from the council out of nowhere rang me and was like, were you requesting the thing about the house? He was like, yeah, we do have it. I found it. It's like, well, when I rang the last time, you said it just doesn't exist. He was like, yeah, well, found it now.
And turns out it was actually on our computer system. And that, I feel like I'm going on another tangent, but that, how many times do you ring a company and they go, you phone them up asking for some information, and they go, oh, no, we don't have that.
Don't have that.
And then you literally put the phone down and dial the exact same numbers and just get a different person in the call center, and they can figure it out.
Yeah, it's like, well, they lied then. They clearly lied. To be fair, it also reminds me of me when I worked in retail. We used to have a back counter at the electronics desk, and if someone comes in and they wanted something, right, I used to type it up on the computer, and if it was a big sale, like if someone was like, I want that CCTV thing, I ain't going to do this for them because I'm definitely going to go and make that sale because it was like 500, 600 quid. If it was like, I don't know, 3.5mm jack lead for like $5.99, and there's just none on the shelf, and I type it in on the computer, and it was all the way upstairs in the warehouse, I used to go, I'll go and have a look, mate. And I used to walk out the back door to go to the warehouse, but just didn't go up the stairs. Just stood there, just out of sight.
You know what I was about to say?
About 3 minutes.
When I worked at Tesco, exactly the same thing. When they'd go, I don't suppose you know if you've got any more stock of this specific salsa, and I'd just go, I don't know. Well, would you be able to go out and have a look in the warehouse? Oh yeah, because I'll be able to find. Have you ever been in a supermarket warehouse?
a jar that big is like the whole thing.
So you'd extensively, like, you know, if I smoked or vaped or anything, you'd be like, "Wow, I'll just go and have a cigarette."
That'd be about the right time, and then come back in. Like,
Oh, sorry.
you've been smoking? No, it's just some guy out there.
I just had to walk through the smoking area to get to
just like
where the salsa's kept.
is. The other one I used to do as well, and this is ridiculous because this took, I'd say, double the time. Would be like, I'd look it up on the computer and be like, how many's in stock? Like 2. Potentially that could be wrong. I could go up there and it may not be there. And then it'd also show you just one more button and you can see other stores. And we had another store about 20 minutes away. If they had 2, I used to ring the store. You got that? Yeah. All right. Could you reserve it for, what's your name? Yeah, for Mr. Whatever. Yeah. Lovely. That's ready for you, mate. Oh, brilliant. Thanks. I could have
sending him across town because you didn't want to go upstairs.
So bad. And yet, for about a year that I worked there, and I did Saturday and Sunday for about a year, top salesman. So I picked and chose. All it was picking and choosing things. He's looking for CCTV. I basically just hung around CCTV. You're right there, mate. You need any help? And then it just goes through on your name, doesn't it? Jack Leeds. Nah.
Whenever you know you're out shopping with someone and you can't find it, and they're like, "Oh, go and ask a person." It's like, I'm not going to ask a person. I used to be that person. I don't want to get asked anything.
Oh, no, I don't ask anyone. If I can't find it, I'm just like, oh well,
doesn't exist.
It's not there. Or I'd rather just do it all online on my phone, and I'll just go and pick it up somewhere than I would stop at someone that's at work and go, "Excuse me, mate, you got." Because I just know how annoying it is.
I'm so awkward that, like, you know, when you're in Curry's and they've got to come and approach you, I'll still say no, even though they can help me,
and they want to. Can I help you there? No, just piss off.
I'm just looking for this really specific thing that you may or may not have, and you know that, and I don't know that.
But I'd rather just not have this entire thing go on. So I'll just leave in a minute and I'll work it out.
I can't handle, you know, like phone shops for that exact reason.
They're
walk into a phone shop and it's, oh, how can I help you? Just let me look.
Yeah, I'm literally looking. They're the worst ones when you are genuinely just looking as well. I'm just going to look. All right, well, if you need anything else, come and find me. I'm not going to. I'm just looking.
If I need if I was going to buy the phone, I have to come and find you. And if I'm not going to buy the phone, we don't need to talk.
yeah, because otherwise, if I don't come and find you, I'm shoplifting it, and I can't do that. So I'm going to have to say something at that point, aren't I?
Yeah, I'm just going to walk up to your door, your security door. I'm just going to stand there pressing numbers, hoping I get the right code.
Oh,
perfect.
Go in, take it off the shelf, take it to the till yourself. Boop. Right. Okay. If you went round the checkout as well, that's £399 then, please, mate. Oh, okay. Round.
Could you just sign these documents for your phone contract? Oh yeah, sure. Give me a second. Oh yeah, I can do that, no problem.
That desk they've got on the swivel chair, you're just wheeling around, doing each bit. There you go. All right, thank you very much. Wheel round. Cheers. Thank you. See you again.
Are those places you need a phone charger? Do you? No, I've got one of those. Thanks.
Got one of them. Right. Bye.
So, anyway.
Right. That's what happens on here. Yeah. Right, we were at estate agents.
Rant number 2 is estate agents, letting agents, landlords, anyone involved with anything to do with property.
Yeah, and I agree with you on that. It all falls into one.
Because so for the flat that I've just left, so what I'll say is when I moved there, I didn't have a permanent position at work. Yeah. So they were like, okay, well you earn enough money to pay this rent, fine. We'd just like you to have a guarantor to just in case you don't stay at your job and you can't find another one. Like, I don't have a single problem with that. So I went to my dad and I was like, Dad, can you be my guarantor? He's done it 4 times before when I was a student. And he was like, yeah, that's fine. Usually they just ask you, they send him a form that goes, if he can't pay, you have to. And he goes, yep, and sends it back. This company, don't know what weird things they get off on, but they were drilling him for like the source of his income. They were asking him loads of questions, were asking for evidence that he owned the house that he lives in. And my dad works for the civil service. He's got top secret level security clearance, and he said that he felt that this was more intrusive than when then at the interview they open up his internet history and go, so
this was worse than that.
you go to this website an awful lot. What you doing there? Cycling magazines. He felt that this was more intrusive, and he said to me afterwards, he said, I'm never doing this again after this experience. And then I move in, and I thought that I was being a good tenant. By the second I moved in, I took photos of absolutely everything, and I sent them like 6 or 7 maintenance reports of things that weren't problems, but could be one.
Yeah.
Like I clocked that the drainage in the shower was a bit slow.
Yeah.
And when you put the washing machine on, water came up the kitchen sink, and I was like, that's all right.
Yeah, they shouldn't do that, should it?
But it wasn't like an unlivable thing. It was like, I'll let you know this is happening.
Yeah.
That then led to months down the line, all of the plumbing in my flat was screwed.
Yeah.
I like both sinks and the shower couldn't drain for a month. They sent 6 different plumbers out, and it took the 6th guy to figure out how to sort it. And I still no idea what he did. He just there for an hour and a half, and he went, "Oh, it should work now."
And it did.
And it did.
What a mate.
And yeah, I was like, cheers.
Cheers. See you, mate.
But yeah, so decided not to stay in the property.
Yeah.
Had all of this ridiculous situation with moving, and because of the traffic on the M27 causing these delays to my moving, I wasn't able to clean the flat exactly how I would have wanted to.
Yeah.
But I still I painted walls, I cleaned the oven thoroughly, cleaned the fridge, defrosted the freezer and cleaned that. I did what I thought. All the floors were vacuumed. I was like, there's nothing they're going to call me out on, right?
No.
Then get an email from them going, so we've done our post-tenancy inspections.
Yeah.
And we're going to have to make some deposit deductions because we need to do some cleaning things, and there's some paint work that's a bit guffed. So we're going to take £580.
It's mental.
And then they sent me photos as evidence, and the evidence is there's a little bit of dust on some skirting boards.
Yeah, that's it.
And there's some those on a door on the inside of your house, there's that weird square pattern.
Yeah.
That the dust just builds on the inside, the bottom rim of the door.
Yeah.
It's
not £580 though, is it, to do that?
No,
what's that?
It's ostensibly 25 minutes of work potentially.
With a £1 feather duster.
Or
how they equate it.
Maybe it's because they're like, well, we're going to have to use an industrial leaf blower.
And they are.
And have you tried to run one?
You'd be lucky to get one. They're really hard to get hold of, but we're going to have to do it with that.
Yeah, and it's just and I emailed them, and I was quite annoyed,
I would
but
imagine.
I still kept I kept my cool the best I could and was like, this is ridiculous. I also
Yeah.
went a month without draining water in my flat. That's your responsibility, not mine.
Yeah.
And I asked, and that's what I said to them. I was like, I asked you multiple times about compensation, and I also asked you for my landlord's contact information, and you always ignored those emails.
Weird that.
So I would quite like that these deductions to be removed, or I might have to go to court.
Yeah. Well, you've got to. That's what you've
And
got to
the
do with them.
and the response I got was like, it was sarcastic in a sort of, well, we did everything we could, but we will reach out to your landlord to see if they will give you a gift in good faith because you were a good tenant.
Give you a
But
gift.
give me a gift of my own money back.
Money back. Thanks very much. A gift would be, here's your own money back, and you were so bloody good, I've doubled it.
Yeah.
That's a gift. That's just getting what's mine back, isn't it?
Maybe I'm being unfair to landlords, and I don't understand the stresses of being one. But when I'm paying for your mortgage and an extra like 400 quid every month, I don't feel that sorry for you.
No. It's almost like, mate, and I've said to you when we spoke about this in the week, like when we moved, it's almost like that deposit, that £1,000 deposit, or ever how much it is at the start, it's almost like they think that, well, that's all right, whatever that deposit is, that's now mine. Like, I'll get that at the end. I'll get it off them one way or another, whether it's dust on that or paintwork on that or whatever. And what really annoyed me and my wife when we were renting was we followed everything that it was said in that. We didn't even hang up a picture, mate, because it said in there they didn't want nails in walls, and we held off for like 4 or 5 years not being able to put a photo on the wall, like not being able to do. We didn't even change paintwork. We kept it as it was, and we went by the book, and we still ended up having to dispute money. And luckily she was the one that really pushed it. I was very much like, do you know what, just pay it and let's just end it. Like, I just want it done and get rid of so we can start living in our new house. But she was like, no, we're disputing this. And we did win, but it took ages. And what was really funny was the banister at the top of the stairs in our old place was we'd put a child gate across the banister to the wall to stop, obviously, thieves getting out when she was walking and that. But over time, the pressure of that stair gate had totally like bent the banister. And what was really funny was when we moved out, I actually admitted that damage, because I was like, that is a structural thing. Like, that banister's buggered. Like, I said that needs sorting and we haven't sorted it. So like, I'm prepared to lose that. But then it all came through with like carpets. Your carpets need doing. I was like, well, of course they need doing, because they've been there 5 years and they were there before we got there. And the average tread of a carpet's meant to be 8 years. So yeah, they probably need changing, but it's not like I've gone through there and chucked like crude oil over them, is it? They're just naturally worn. So there was that. He wanted to do carpets across the whole place. Wanted it was dust again. Said dust was there. It's just picking stuff. I think if you look around anyone's house, you'd find all that, wouldn't you? But
Yeah,
I don't see how it equates to £1,000.
It's evidence that the house has been lived in.
Yeah, well, of course we've lived there. We haven't sat in the garden, like sat in the car park.
Yeah, what do you want me to have done? I'll tell you what I wanted to do. I've just paid rent for this property, but I just sit outside the front door.
Do everything outside.
I just sit there, like, it's great. I just
Massive extension lead from the lounge all the way out to the car park, and then an extension lead off that. So you've got like 10 plugs.
Yeah, annoyingly, the Wi-Fi is a bit bad, but it's what you got to do, isn't it?
Yeah, because
this is how I get my deposit back. Is by.
But I guarantee you, if you did do that for 5 years, lived outside, didn't go in it, when you left, I guarantee you, they'd still push for and you would have great evidence then, wouldn't you? Say, well, I've not even been in it.
But then they'd be like, well, it's your job to maintain it, and there are spider webs.
And you haven't maintained it, have
and
you?
you
'Cause you've been
haven't
sat in
and
the
you
car
haven't cleared the
park.
spider webs because you've never been in the building.
I didn't even go in it because I didn't want to run the risk. So of course there's some spiders in there now. No, they're awful. They really are awful, mate.
And it's it's obviously it's not every, and I would even be willing to say it's not even probably the landlord. It's these agents.
Arguably.
I wouldn't be surprised if the deduction, I'm now going down the conspiracy routes of going. The letting agency deals with all of the deductions and stuff like that, right? They're not going to pay some cleaning company £300 to go and dust it.
No.
One of the student houses I lived in when I was at university, on the day we moved in, flies were skewered to walls with drawing pins.
Jesus.
And you're like, and I walked in, I was like, well, surely that guy lost his deposit, right? Then also they still haven't cleaned it.
Just left them in there.
They just so those flies have probably been there attached to the wall for months.
Or did you think outside the box that there was loads of nails in the wall and what you had was suicidal flies? So they've been flying into nails at a rate of knots.
What it was actually, there was every summer they find the reason why you don't get as many flies around is because they're hosting jousting tournaments in student halls.
Like on their wing, they've got like nails.
Yeah.
Go.
Go.
Into the wall like that. Boom, he's done him. Fred's done. I'm trying to think of names for flies here. Fred the fly and
Fred the fly, Philip the fly.
Philip the Philip, no. Fred's done him.
Philip.
Straight into the wall.
Commentary.
That's what they do.
I'm Buzz, and this is my co-commentator.
SWAT.
Buzz and SWAT. And we're here today commentating on the annual fly
jousting tournament.
Fly jousting tournament it's being hosted in Portsmouth this year. It's very exciting and it's a great thing for the city.
All the flies are coming in for it. That's where they all go.
Every year.
Oh, you going? They're meeting up in gardens like that. You going to the? Yeah.
They're landing on cheeseburgers, not to do it. They're just there going. Oh, when are you heading over to the fly jousting?
Tomorrow.
I'm heading tomorrow. I got tickets for the semi-final. Oh, semi-final!
Semi-final.
Look at you.
Yeah, done really well. Yeah.
Yeah, we've had a really good year this year, and so
we've done so well.
We just thought we'd treat ourselves to the semis,
to the event.
Obviously not the finals.
No, not the final. Brilliant. And there you go. That's what happens on here again. Digress into talking absolute drivel. So it's just like being at work. It's just like being at work on a free hour, isn't it?
It really
95% crap. Don't get us anywhere. Right, mate. I think we've done well. I knew we would. 42 minutes. Look, I'll leave it.
Bad.
There's nothing. What I found when I edited the last one was like trying to trim down a conversation with someone's actually really hard, isn't it?
Really difficult, yeah.
Because the way you're talking, it flows. So you want the moment you cut something later don't make sense, and it's really hard to like.
The only thing you could cut is the tangents, but those are probably the best bits.
They're the best bits. Like, well, I'm not going to take out fly jousting, am I?
No, fly jousting, no, obviously.
You could argue that should be the picture on the thumbnail now.
Oh yeah, that's what YouTube thumbnails are all about, right? Is you pick the most ridiculous thing.
Because no one in their right mind would have gone. If I text you earlier and said, "What's your topics?" and you went fly jousting, I'd have been like, "What, mate? Don't go with that. That sounds mental."
Yeah, and then for the video, you name it jousting flies 6 question marks in all caps.
Tax flies raid insects. That's all your video
Rock,
tags.
just-
Rock. But always put the rock in. I always like to chuck in a few really common. Yeah, the Rock.
Taylor Swift and
I'm trying to think of someone really obscure now. I was going to say Bruce Forsyth, but he's been dead quite a while, hasn't he? Oh, Bruce.
he has been dead quite. But I mean, maybe he's popular in the fly community.
Maybe any dead celebrity is, because that's where they go, don't they?
I figured I'd quickly tag Jerry Seinfeld for his links to the B movie.
There we go. And yeah, anything bees as well we could tag. Yeah. Jerry Seinfeld, that'd be good, wouldn't it? Imagine if I could get Jerry Seinfeld on here. Maybe that's my quest.
That'd push you over the 100 subscriber mark.
I reckon I might get a few from that. Right, how do I do? Right, okay. I've got how long we got left for Easter? Week and a half. Right.
You can get Seinfeld.
I'll get Seinfeld on. Easy work.
Worst case, like you settle for like, I don't know, Ricky Gervais.
I'll take Gervais. Yeah, that'd be a good one. Gervais, Seinfeld, and
it'd be a good one, but you'd also have to tell him to like stop whinging about trans people.
yeah.
Can you bring some actual material
now, and not stuff? When I went to see him live, actually, it's amazing how I think I caught him just before the sort of, because he's definitely become so like, he's just been very successful, wouldn't he? And he now, I think, and he openly would admit, I think he doesn't give a shit anymore. I think he's just like, I can fill an arena with the same material if I wanted.
Yeah, he's gotten lazy. He's just like, I'll just do whatever.
So I don't think he even cares anymore. So he wouldn't want to come on here. What's the point? Seinfeld. I think Seinfeld would enjoy this show. That's what I reckon. I reckon he would.
I think you can see if you can find his agent.
Agent, yeah. Find some links for Seinfeld's agent and just say, look, I'm running a show.
Where we just
big fan, and I am a big fan of Jerry Seinfeld. Actually, used to love Seinfeld.
Do they respond to that? Like,
I don't know.
Does Jimmy Kimmel send a text to Seinfeld going, "Oh, I'm a big fan," or does he send a text going, "I hate you, come on my show"?
Come on my show. Yeah, I don't know how it works. I don't know how any of that works. Actually, I'll look into it. Even that'd be funny anyway, wouldn't it? If I just start chucking emails out, it'd be a funny thing to do. I could update it on the show each week potentially. But,
unfortunately, guys, no response to.
I'll go a different way. I'll get to him. I'll get to him one way or another. Right. Okay. See, we said we're going to end, and there was another 5 minutes. Right. Callum, been a pleasure. This has been Arran Articulates, the show where me and Callum this week have articulated moving, estate agents, flower jousting. I feel like there were some other ones there. Retail was in there.
Retail and fence painting.
Fence painting.
Being a dad.
And being a dad. All covered. We always got you. Right. See you all next time. Ciao for now. Thank you again, Callum.
Thank you very much.
Down, I'll be the judge of that. Imagine like